What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this POV review by AutoTopNL. My name is Max, and today we are finally making a review of our own Ferrari F12 Berlinetta. It has been a while since we bought this car. It is long overdue. I'm sorry about that. We just couldn't find the time, busy filming other cars, but not our own. So today I'm going to show you around it. We're going to talk a bit about the differences between this and the 599. And of course, we'll take it for a drive towards the Autobahn for an Autobahn blast. Now, I do have to say it is 9:30, sun is setting, so we do have to hurry up a little bit, but we are going to cover all of the important stuff. So, the Ferrari F12, introduced in 2012, and following the 599, of course, which we also own, it is a big difference. If you drive them back to back, it is like there are 2 or 3 generations of Ferrari between it. It does not feel like one generation, and that is a massive accomplishment by Ferrari. The car is smaller, it's lighter, 20% stiffer, 70 kilos lighter, and the center of gravity is much lower as well. And I think in achieving all that, making the car feel more modern, the engine is further back into the chassis, and it just feels like a completely different car. So let's start at the front, where we have a very nice and quite aggressive front end, of course, with those headlights that you also get on a Ferrari FF, for instance. But this car does look a little bit more angry. We've got a nice little lower part of the bumper there, and of course the active aero flaps in the bumper to cool the brakes, so you actually get a little notification on your dash when they open, and well, it just looks freaking awesome. Now, moving on, we've also got the air bridges here on the side, which is probably one of the coolest things about this car. Is it a commonly accepted super beautiful car? No, I don't think so. I don't think it's the most pretty Ferrari ever made or the most successful design, but I do love the purposefulness of the design. I think it's a stunning car, but I just love the fact that you can see how the aero works. It's so obvious here. The air is taken from here, then guided down the side, underneath the bridge here, and away. And that is both to improve downforce, but also to eliminate drag around the wheel arches. So this airflow actually pulls away air from the wheel arches. Wheel-wise, we've got these darker grey ones, which I really like. The color, by the way, is Rosso Berlinetta, which is the introduction color, 20,000 euro option. And I do think it looks stunning. As you know, I'm not the biggest fan of red Ferraris, but I do think that this works really well. Although, of course, I would rather have had a blue or a green F12, obviously. But this'll do. I really like this color. It suits the car very well. And I do like it with this wheel because it just gives it that little bit of an edge instead of just a silver wheel. We've got carbon ceramic brakes behind that with black calipers as an option, which is also very nice, and Michelin Pilot Supersport tires. These are 20-inch wheels, by the way, and these are 255 section tire at the front. At the rear, we've got 315s, so quite a wide tire at the rear because it has a lot of power to put down. And at the rear, just a stunning rear end. One of my favorite things about this car is when you drive behind it, it just looks freaking like a race car. It really does. And this F1 style fog light also adds to that, of course. Beautiful. The exhaust integrated into the rear bumper. Although that is part of the rear bumper and not a real exhaust because it is in there. At 2 Ferrari. That's a shame. Now, the F12 compared to the 599, interesting little difference, is a hatchback. So practicality is much better than with the 599 because you have quite a large boot here, and then you have the area behind the seats, which is much more accessible than in a 599, which has a trunk. And you have to put stuff through the cabin behind the seats, which is a pain. It's not very spacious. This is much more spacious. It's got like 500 liters of storage, which is quite good actually. Now, check out the engine. So there we have the 6.3 liter V12, an all new engine for this car, delivering 740 horsepower and 690 Newton meters of torque. Peak power at 8,250 RPM. So that is quite insane. The way this thing develops power, it's got some serious torque, but of course that surge, it really happens at high revs, and that is just amazing. The fact that this is still possible, even now with the 812, of course, still going strong, that just amazes me. So another difference with the 599, and partly an explanation of why this car and this engine sound so much more high-pitched than the 599s, is that this car has got 6-into-1 equal length headers. So one part of the cylinder bank goes into one header, and they are of equal length, and that means that you get that high-pitched noise. The 599 has 6-into-2 headers, and it sounds much more raw. Linked to that engine, we've got the 7-speed dual clutch gear track gearbox, which is also much more modern than the 599. We've got an electronically controlled diff by Ferrari, the e-diff, and that all makes it feel much more modern and much better handling, and everything is just much better basically. Except for the seats. These are, I think, like the comfort seats, but they are everything but comfortable, especially on long journeys. Not really great. I do love this Coyo interior, this brownish tan leather, super nice spec with that red. And we've got the carbon fiber steering wheel with LEDs and Coyo with a black center. Now, we covered this on the introduction video as well, but if you haven't seen that video, go check it out. Top right corner, then come back. So they actually ordered the steering wheel in Coyo, but they didn't order the airbags separately. So normally you have one color, but we have a two-tone steering wheel, which I really like. I love the fact that, you know, it's everywhere, the two-tone. Just makes it a little bit more special. Lovely startup, quite civilized. We also have valves, so you can actually hear lower RPM, but then higher RPM, the valves open, and the sound is quite loud. Let's take it for a little drive. We have to hurry up a little bit. The sun is setting in like 15 minutes. So we are going to head out to the Autobahn. Now, driving the car, as you can see, we've got the indicators on the steering wheel as well. So we have all the important controls on the steering wheel, except for the pedals, which are on the steering column. But everything is here. Indicators, wipers, Manettino, bumpy road mode for the suspension, the magneto rheological suspension dampers, which is magic. It really works very well. And then the steering itself is so quick and direct, it's like laser guided. It is insane. And you would think that, you know, the 599, when you drive it for the first time, it's quite an intimidating car to drive. It's very big, and it's quite a raw experience. It's not very sophisticated, but actually the controls are very progressive, and it's just really well managed. This car feels so much more intense. The gearbox shifts so quickly, and the power is just instant. It is an experience, this car. It really is. It's very intense, and everything happens really quickly, including the steering, because the steering rack is really quick, so you never have to give that much input to go around a corner or a roundabout or whatever you want to do. Oh, but that e-diff is absolutely magic. Now I've got the Manottino in CT off, but I still have the ESC on, so it allows me to play around a little bit, but the diff is still making sure that I don't end up the wrong way around, which is quite handy. All right, so at the Autobahn, where it should be nice and quiet. Brakes are very good as well, although there's not a lot of feel in the pedal. It's quite a hard pedal. But before we hit the Autobahn, I just want to tell you about today's sponsor, which is Petrol Vibes. We've got the F12 on the wall here. As you can see, we have used it to dress our workshop. It looks absolutely stunning. I love a good silhouette of a car, and you can buy this too at petrolvibes.com. It is made from 2mm thick steel. They laser cut that. You can even have one custom made of your own car if they don't have it in stock already. So go check out petrolvibes.com. They have a lot of cool cars. They've got motorcycles as well. And if you use the code AutoTopNL10, you get a 10% discount on your very own Petrol Vibes silhouette. Go check it out and enjoy the video. All right, here we go. Shift lights telling me when to shift. Although it's not that clear actually, I have to admit. And as with a lot of recent Ferraris, they sort of get better and easier the faster you go. It's like they come into their own. It's like they're at their happiest when you're going quickly, which makes sense. But you can see it is a very quick car. Two cars a bit too close together here, not going to risk that. Performance-wise, I do think that we have lost some horses along the way. Because we measured the 100 to 200 km/h performance and it was not that impressive. According to Ferrari, it should be able to do 5.4 seconds because they claim 3.1 seconds from 0 to 100, and they claim, what was it, 8.5 seconds I think, yeah, from 0 to 200, and so that's 5.4, and we did like 6 point something, 6.2, 6.3, I don't know, not that great. So I guess it did lose some horses in the last 10 years. Oh, that is outrageously delicious. Oh man, I absolutely adore this car. It is such a great car. So onwards on the other side, top speed of this car is 340 kilometers an hour. So let's find out if we can get close to that. steady. Still accelerating. We're at 333, 4. Well, we've got a corner coming up there. I'm sorry, I'm not going to head into this corner with 340 with these cars here. So as you know, we film a lot of cars, and we really try to put as much as we can back into the channel to, you know, do stuff like this, to buy cool cars, to take you along for the ride. Man, this car. When this car came out, I think everyone was like, okay, how are they doing this? How are they getting 740 horsepower from a naturally aspirated V12? And then they introduced the 812 with like 800 horsepower and the 812 GTS. It's unreal, unbelievable how they are achieving this. I am absolutely in love. I think this drivetrain must be one of the best road car drivetrains ever. It is just so savage when you want it to be, but it can be very like comfy and accessible. It's just, you know, you have to be aware that there is a lot of explosive power hiding, and when that comes out, you better be ready. And I love that about this car. I absolutely love it. It intimidates me a little bit every time I drive it. Just a little bit, just enough to make it interesting, which is amazing. So, I'm not sure what we're going to do with this car, if we are going to keep it for a long time or whatever, but if we do anything with it, of course, we will take you along for the ride. I'm going to end it here. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. You can also watch this video if you want to watch another one. You can check out this playlist. And if you're not a subscriber yet, you can click that button if you want to be one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you at the next one. Bye.